Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the UK and Ireland Minnesota Vikings Fan Club podcast. Football is finally back, and to celebrate, I am joined by two astounding gentlemen. First of all, we've got Club Vice President, all round nice guy, Mr. John McDonald, and Club Content Lead, all round nice guy, and Jet Setter, Tom Parry Jones. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
How are we doing?
It doesn't get much better than a week one win on the road against a division rival, especially when you were down 11 points going into the fourth quarter, does it?
It can't get much better than that.
With a QB making his first professional start.
Yeah.
That's it. It
That's
sounded
it.
so
That's the
simple when
pod.
I said it.
Call it
That's
now.
it,
That's
yeah.
the pod.
That's it.
It sounded
See you
so
next
simple
week.
when it sounded so simple when I put it in the chat. Well, all we need is 2 touchdowns without reply. We'll be fine. Of course, that didn't really paint the picture going into the fourth quarter. I guess we'll go a quick run through the league. Just so, of course, everyone knows what has happened. It would have helped if I actually had these up in front of me, but thrown to hosting because, as you can see, there is no big deal, Rich. And you can see Mr. Tom Parry Jones, he's in a bit of a different setting, even though he's got a blurred background. You can probably tell from his get-up that he isn't in his usual London abode and is instead in Chicago. So, Tom, I guess whilst I find the results from around the league, why don't you tell the people how was the game day experience in Chicago?
Oh man, it was incredible. So I flew in on Sunday, got into Chicago around 2:00 in the afternoon, settled into my hotel, and then spent yesterday just sort of going around the city. I've been here before, so I didn't really need to do much of the touristy stuff. Went down to where the Bulls play basketball. And then met up with one of our friend Zach, who lives here in Chicago, fellow Vikings fan. We went for some food and drinks, and then got an Uber down to the game. And what a game it was! The atmosphere at Soldier Field is like when the fans are on the Bears' side, which they were for the majority of the game. It's so loud in that place. Like, it's very hostile towards visiting fans. I did wonder at some points whether I was going to make it out alive, but as you can see, I did. And yeah, I almost regretted going when we were 11 points down. But the fact that we were in touch from the whole game and then just blew them out of the water in the fourth quarter, just amazing performance. What you want to see from a young QB making his first start in the NFL.
And John, the night owl of the podcast, the man who is fresh-faced and raring to go today because this is normal routine. How did you find watching? Were you at work or were you at home?
I was at home. I took its holiday this week, so yeah, I always do for Vikings games. But yeah, it was a good game. I would much rather win the way we do with a rookie QB. What we say is a rookie QB, than blow out
First year starter.
Big lead. I mean, he's only the second QB to be down by more than 10 in his first ever game and come back and win the game. The other one was a young man by the name of Steve Young.
You nearly gave it away there by saying a young man.
Yeah, a young man by the name of Steve Young, yes.
Yeah. For the 1985 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Steve Young.
But yeah, but for me, I'll get onto my grind about the game later on. But I think we eventually got clicking on that in there. But yeah, it was a hard watch. But what else do we expect from Vikings football?
No, it would never be easy. And now, well, thanks to you two for both filling in whilst I found the scores on ESPN. We'll do a quick rundown of the lead. The league. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Before it even started, don't even want to know what Jalen Carter was thinking, or Dak Prescott. To be honest, you don't need to go what to and spit on that thing in an NFL game. It was uncalled for, and has no place in the sport. But the Eagles ran out victorious against the Cowboys in the season opener, 24-20. The Chargers surprised the Chiefs. I don't know if that was a surprise, to be honest, because I felt quite good about the Chargers, and quite a lot of other people did too. But
That one was in
27-21 in Brazil. Brazil. The Buccaneers and Falcons, to have a good kicker, I guess. This is the theme, really, of the weekend in the early slate of the games, as the Buccaneers ran out fortuitous victors over the Falcons, given how that game really should have gone to overtime. The Bengals, I think that they recorded a shockingly low number of yards in the second half, but somehow beat the Browns, who had a missed field goal and a missed pat. Bengals victorious over the Browns in the Battle of Ohio, 17-16. The Dolphins didn't really turn up against the Colts. It was pretty embarrassing, to say the least. But former Viking Cam Bynum with a pick, former Viking Daniel Jones going and having point scoring drives every time he touched the ball. So hopefully that comp pick is going to be nice and strong at the end of the season for Daniel Jones. 33-8 there, the score. The Raiders, Geno Smith versus Drake May. Fun game. A lot of prayers thrown up there. And the Raiders, they won 20-13. The Cardinals and Saints was a football game that happened. It wasn't pretty to watch. Kyler Murray won me a fantasy game with a lot of scrambling and some underwhelming throwing. But 20-13 there. The Steelers and the Jets put on probably the game of the weekend until we got Sunday Night Football. I don't think anyone ever saw that being such a good game, but Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns. Should the Vikings have picked him up? Absolutely not. And Justin Fields looking quite good too, but Steelers beat the Jets 34-32. The Commanders battered the Giants, really. 21-6 doesn't really do justice. Russell Wilson really doesn't have any place in the league anymore, and the sooner Jackson Dart gets into the Giants, the better for them. The Jaguars ran out victorious over the Panthers. A rain-delayed game that kept my ACCA interesting for longer than it should have been, just because of how long that one took to get to completion. But the Jaguars comfortable winners. The Titans fell to defeat against the Broncos, 12-20. Cam Ward finding out that you don't get as good receivers at Tennessee, and they struggled to bring the ball in. Had a lot of chances late in the game to have big catches and failed. The 49ers and the Seahawks. 49ers won that one 17-13. Seahawks very uninspiring in Sam Darnold's debut. The Lions and the Packers, who would have thought signing a top 5 defensive player or trading for one would have such an impact, as the Lions also had a decimated interior offensive line with retirements and players leaving, and the Packers comfortable winners there, 27-13. The Texans and Rams, I think, probably the poorest game of the weekend in terms of quality. Stafford doesn't look right. CJ Stroud doesn't look right. It was a bit boring, really. 9-14 final score. Then the barnstormer of Sunday Night Football, the Ravens doing what the Ravens do best and blowing a lead in the fourth quarter to a AFC fellow powerhouse, the Bills, 41-40 victors there. And of course, that brings us on to our Minnesota Vikings, who, of course, staged a magnificent fourth quarter comeback to beat the Chicago Bears 27-24.
Cool. Take a breath.
Goodness, that was a lot of football. I missed bye weeks.
I should have gone to make a cup of tea. Yeah, a lot of football action this week. A lot of good games, and I almost wanted ours to be the best. Save the best for last. But yeah, you're right. That Ravens-Bills game was incredible. Scorigami as well. 41-40 is a score that has never happened in the NFL before this weekend.
Has someone got the TV playing? Mr. McDonald, all-round nice guy, John McDonald.
Aka.
God, what is going on?
Are we
That's so
boring you?
important, Mr. John. Come on. What was so important? We can't edit this one, so you might as well tell the world.
I'm
He's
watching
watching highlights.
I'm watching the Eli the Manning pod with Randy Moss in our game, so I'm quite enjoying it. To be honest,
it was quite good. But come on, they've got a job to do, sir. And I guess that brings us on to boy done good, boy done bad. John, we'll come to you first, as you're so eager to watch the Manning cast. John, who was your boy done good?
My boy done good was Hargrave this week. Absolutely stepped in there and was it 3 tackles and two sacks he ended up getting. So yeah, our defense was really stepping up last night. Without them, the Bears would have been further ahead, and the comeback wouldn't have been on. But yeah, just kept us in that game until the offense decided to wake themselves up.
Yeah, almost like a Jared Allen style sack, where he got credited with a sack because the quarterback ran out of play.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically a sack.
It's a sack. It counts. They all count. And it won me a fantasy game by 0.02 points.
That was what matters.
Margin.
That's the important thing.
That's what really matters. Fantasy above all.
Yeah.
John, who was your boy done bad?
My boy done bad this week is surprising to a lot of people. Darren's going to be celebrating and doing cartwheels. It was Ryan Wright. Some of those he was bang average this week. Some of the kicks were okay. He was getting them inside the 20. Most of them were inside the 20, but just inside the 20. And it's just, come on. Is there a new rule that punts can't go out of bounds? Because
you can if you shank them like he did.
But I prefer not giving them a chance to return. I prefer aiming at the sideline, and if you lose a yard or two from the punt by aiming it out of bounds, okay. But the chances are that the punt return is going to return more than that. But that's just me. Maybe I'm a bit weird that way. I just don't like it like that.
It's a good thing that Devin Hester no longer plays for the Bears, because we would have been punished with some of the punting. I think it just comes down to the holding, and he did have a very good hold for the joint longest field goal in Soldier Field history, with Will the Thrill hitting home comfortably from 59 yards. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Ryan, right? It's a tricky one, but there you go. First game of the season, and our first boy done bad is the punter. So it must have been a pretty good team performance. Tom, who was your boy done good?
My boy done good was Jordan Mason. I think he was very, very good yesterday. The stat line maybe doesn't reflect that. Like, he only got, I think, let me find it, 68 yards on 15 carries, which at 4.5 yards per carry, that's a good stat line for a running back. It's not a 100-yard game, but he was sharing carries with Aaron Jones. He got twice as many carries as Aaron Jones, in fact. But he showed a good change of pace, a good option that we now have at running back. And he had some really valuable carries towards the end when we were just trying to run the clock and get out of Soldier Field with the W.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It was something that was an evident step up from what we've had in the past, where we've, even in the days of Adrian Peterson and Dalvin Cook, you had a feature back and the supporting cast around was weak. The one time we had a good tandem was the time where Dalvin Cook went down in 2017, his rookie campaign, with Jet McKinnon and Latavius Murray, looking like a strong partnership then. But yeah, Jordan Mason is a force to be reckoned with, and probably the heist of the offseason, that trade, with the value for the pick that we gave up for him.
Yeah, we hardly
Tom.
gave up anything when it comes down to it.
Exactly. And boy, done bad for you, Tom.
Oh, there could have been a few based on how we performed in the first three quarters, but I think it's harsh to have a go at the guy I'm going to name in a sec, but just because of his status in our roster. But I'm going to go with Justin School because he was at fault for a lot of the Vikings' struggles in the first three quarters, especially early on. It's difficult when you have to come in to replace a guy of the caliber of Christian Darrisaw at left tackle, which is the most important position on offense, I would say. But yeah, he was like a freewheeling turnstile. JJ McCarthy was under pressure a lot, couldn't find a receiver, and that's because he didn't have time to find a receiver because School was letting guys in all over the place. This offensive line, I think, will take a little while to gel fully. And it doesn't help that we go into our first game with only 4 of the 5 that we expect to be the starters available. But that's the issue with not having a proper preseason. You don't play your starters, so they don't have that time to gel. It's not your preseason, your training camp, and everything. It's not conducive to building that chemistry.
I was going to say, I was about
That's
to say
exactly
easy
it.
Mike Zimmer. I was going to say easy Mike Zimmer playing the starters in the preseason. Not for me, but yeah, I get what you're saying because Darrisaw was missing a lot of it, and so was Fries.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Tom. You've got a new starter at QB, a revamped O-line, and we decided not to play them during preseason, and it showed last night because it took a while for everyone to get on the same page and get clicking. This is why you've got to play more than 12 snaps during preseason. That's
and
what
it's even more. It's even more difficult when you've got the head coach coming up with scripted plays to start the game, and then you get thrown off that script, and you're like flying by the seat of your pants, and you have to essentially wait until halftime to really get the new plan across to the players, and it really showed. I mean, we say it in soccer all the time, don't we? It's a game of 2 halves. Well, this is a game of 4 quarters.
Yeah.
I mean, it was evident, really. I mean, I think also with offensive lines, you need calm, and one thing that the Vikings did not have in that first half was calm. Even on, I think it was either the first or second sack that we took in one of the early 3 and outs, where JJ stepped forward to escape the rush, and because all his receivers were so close to him, he was just bottled up immediately. And I mean, Skill was getting beaten far too quickly throughout the game. I think there was one where people were going, Donovan Jackson didn't allow pressure last night, but there was a photo going around of, I think it was just as JJ McCarthy was getting hit as he threw, when his arm was coming forward, and it was one of those scary ones that could have or has previously been ruled a fumble when it was Kirk Cousins. But that was again, Skill's man had got past him, and it was Donovan Jackson was turning around and effectively trying to throw the guy off at the last minute, which is why he wasn't credited with allowing a pressure on that one. For me, Boyd done good. I was delighted when this guy came back. Eric Wilson. I think there was a point after the pick 6 where I said, right, game's done. Let's get everyone through healthy. No silly risks. Protect the guys who need to play, and we'll live to fight another day in another game. And then immediately after, Blake Cashman went out injured. And in came Eric Wilson, who I think changed the game from a defensive point of view, because he was everywhere. He was putting pressure on. He was solid in coverage, solid tackling, and when you need him on special teams, what's he do? He goes and blocks a punt. He was everywhere. I like Josh Metellus because Josh Metellus, we say, what position do you play? And he just says football. And I think Eric Wilson is another one of those guys. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal and fills me with a lot of confidence, more than I had with Grusha Hill. When Grusha Hill, of course, had to step up last season, I'm more confident with Eric Wilson, as it does look like we are going to be missing Cashman for a few weeks with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, it's been an interesting situation with Wilson coming back after some time away at the Packers. It's always nice to see guys returning to the Vikings because we know players like to come back and play for us, and when they come back and play well, that's even better. And we can say that about Thielen as well. Like, he didn't play well on the scrimmage plays, but big 2-point conversion late in the game was really, really important from Adam, especially since we missed the 2-pointer earlier.
See, that 2-pointer earlier is exactly. I said it in all the chats. That's exactly when you need someone like CJ Ham. That was perfectly scripted for someone like him. Big back, straight up the middle. Especially when we got moved to the 1 yard line because of the penalty. You just thought, well, send the big bloke up the middle.
I was amazed we didn't just run that with Mason. You just think your big meaty men, you think they're going to be better than the other team's big meaty men. Just push through. I know it's not like
I wasn't overly. I wasn't unhappy with the call to go play action there. I think because, like you say, everyone would have been expecting a big run from Jordan Mason. Get the big heavy bodies in there. So play action and then a pass to Josh Oliver maybe was the wrong target. On play action, which the Bears will probably have been expecting. They'll have been expecting it to go to our main tight end in TJ Hawkinson. They just played good D.
But bringing up another point you brought up there, Reece, about the injuries, that field last night, absolutely shocking. You've had
I feel like that in week one.
They've had 5 concerts on there in the last couple of weeks, and it's, come on. Last 2 weeks they've had 5 concerts on there.
Don't tell me Taylor Swift was there. Don't tell me Taylor Swift was there, because we can't blame Taylor Swift for everything going on.
No, it was
Oasis, maybe
System of a Down.
Definitely.
So, yeah. But yeah.
Oh dear. It was a tough field, and I think that probably played into the reason why Darisaw wasn't activated for the game.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, on a field like that, I mean, I don't think we can say that they did it on purpose. The Bears, we definitely can't say that. Like, legally,
well, it hurt them as well. It hurt them as well.
Both teams have to play on the same field. I mean, maybe that played into the Narshawn Wright injury late in the game. But
yeah, that was calf. He said he'd been struggling all game with his calf.
Yeah,
it was calf tightness. So that is usually down to a bit of a spongy field. To say, to put it one way, that's what causes a lot of these cramp and muscular issues, soft tissue injuries. Of course, also very common early in the season, as we've seen with the likes of Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson in the past. My boy done bad.
Oh yeah,
this was a tricky one because, like you both said, first 3 quarters could have picked a lot of people. Had the game not gone down the route it went down, I could have been saying JJ McCarthy, because he's 5 passes completed for very minimal yards in the first half was poor, and then the interception, less said about that the better. That was not good. That was a bit of a panic. But for JJ McCarthy, it seems like if he throws an interception, it's like a reset, and then he becomes the best quarterback in the NFL immediately after. I didn't like the play calling on either side of the ball in the first half. It was too passive, both from a pass rush point of view and also from play calling. Like I mentioned earlier, everyone was too close. There wasn't anyone stretching the field until it got to the point where we hit Speedy late in the first half to set up the field goal.
Was that the 50-yard pass interference?
No.
Was that his?
No, that
was his actual catch.
That was his actual catch, which led to the most animated Viking staff member I've ever seen, going for timeout, screaming timeout. I think everyone could see that one. He wanted the timeout. But honestly, the thing is, all those people I've just mentioned, they bounced back in tremendous fashion. The play calling was exceptional through the second half of the third quarter all the way to the end of the game. Coaching was on point. JJ McCarthy was on point. Adam Feeling with a big 2-point grab despite his drop. Hawkinson all of a sudden was a solid underneath target and blocked very well, I thought, last night as well. So it leaves me with a boy done bad that I never thought I'd have to go away from the Vikings, but I'm going to say Caleb Williams, because if you're going to go out and have the first half that you had, where, first half I said I couldn't fault him. I thought Caleb Williams was phenomenal. I thought, oh my goodness, Ben Johnson has fixed Caleb Williams. But then come the second half, it was no longer Steve Young in disguise. It was back to being good old Caleb Williams, overthrowing receivers from, well, just sailing passes 5 yards over guys' heads. And as good as the Vikings were, I think Caleb Williams pretty much threw that game away because he had a lot of easy completions that he missed on. And a better quarterback or a better quarterback performance in that second half, the Vikings just do not get a sniff.
No, I agree. And I think what exemplifies that for me is the way the third down conversions just completely flipped in the second half. In the first half, the Vikings were 0 for 5 and the Bears were 3 for 7. And in the second half, it was exactly the opposite. The Vikings went 3 for 7 and the Bears went 0 for 5. So we both finished 3 for 12. But it's just the way the game completely turned on its head. And then we took advantage of the opportunities we had in the second half. In the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
John, any thoughts on Caleb?
He's very elusive. I don't think we're going to play more. Maybe Lamar, but I don't think we're going to play a more elusive quarterback this year, because it was so frustrating. Our defenders were just fingernailed away from him every single time, and he was just that step ahead. He looked so good last night, but there were parts of it where he just needs to reset and be like. But then again, he's going against one of the best defenses in the league. Everyone knows you put Caleb under pressure, he wills, and that's what B-Flow is known for, putting QBs under pressure.
Exactly. And I think we saw how slippery he was and how close he was when Jonathan Allen was slamming the floor in frustration, like a toddler throwing a tantrum after missing on what seemed like a locked-on sack on Caleb Williams. But yeah, that's boy done good, boy done bad. It went so well in the fourth quarter that we could only find 2 people who were bad, and one of them was the punter. So on to week 2 in that sense. But before we move on to previewing the Falcons game, which could look at the wider picture of the NFL, a highlight and a low light each from what happened this weekend. Tom, I will throw to you first. Have you got a highlight or a low light from the NFL action this weekend?
Oh, from the whole league?
Yeah, from the whole league, or the Vikings, if you wish to go Vikings.
No, the way you said it, I thought you wanted something from the entire league. I mean, obviously, you've got to go with JJ McCarthy running in his first rushing touchdown. After throwing a pick six, it's very, very difficult to come back and pass for 2 and rush for another. And that's exactly what he did. I think in that regard, I think there's a stat around there that because of those stats, basically he's matched Frank Tarkenton on the NFL debut, and I think that's really impressive.
Which was away at the Chicago Bears, I believe.
It was at home to the Bears, but yes, you're right.
It was at home to the Bears. where he got bought on at half time because the QB.
I think it was even earlier than that, but yeah.
Yeah, QB we were playing was like, nah, I don't like it. Bud Grant was like, no, I don't like you.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was Van Brocklin, but at the time,
Yeah.
Van Brocklin was just like, yeah, George Shaw, you get out of there. We'll put the rookie in, and they shared QB duties for much of the rest of the season. Like Tarkenton wasn't the full-time starter for the whole year after that, but yeah, it was a changing of the guard.
It was the following season that was it George Shaw who then decided, you know what? No, I'm just going to go be a doctor after this because football's not for me. That's what football
Could
was
well
back
be.
then. I think it was. There was one of the starting quarterbacks back then was like, nah, I'm just going to be a doctor instead. John, a highlight or a low light from around the league from you?
The low light's got to be that Thursday night kerfuffle between the Cowboys and Eagles. That was just disgusting. It's not the way you want to start the league season. It was, not the way you want to start the league season. Just disgusting behaviour. Not the way you try and sell it to people, is it?
If you want to talk about,
just to confirm, we're talking Jalen Hurts here.
No,
Jalen Carter.
the spitting.
Sorry, yeah,
the spit, the spitting. But a highlight for me, I'll give both because we've got NFL football on terrestrial television, live games twice a week, 9 o'clock on Sunday and a 6 o'clock game on Sunday.
Yeah,
people
at
out
watchable
there
times now.
at watchable times. You need to tell your friends and family. You need to sit there and watch this, support this, get it out, because this is how we grow the game in this country.
I'm looking forward to the first Vikes game on Channel 5. That's going to be fun.
I'm excited for it. I mean, I was surprised watching Channel 5. I knew it was going to be more family friendly. I wasn't expecting to see O.C. Umenyiora and Sam Quick chopping up a hot dog into 5 pieces. At what point that part of the coverage literally paralleled Neil Reynolds gushing over Aaron Rodgers on Sky. So to be honest, I enjoyed the other sausage fest on Channel 5 more than
I've missed out on this because I flew out on Sunday, so I didn't get to see the Channel 5 coverage.
It was bizarre. The first hour was bizarre. It was a lot of celebrities.
When do you think they'll have us on first? Do you think they'll have us on week 3? I think having us on the Bengals game would be a good time to get people hyped for the Dublin and London games.
They have released the schedule, I think, already for the first 3 weeks, and I didn't see us on it. I've
probably be on Sky for that one.
I've just seen that on through like Facebook groups and everything, so it might not 100% be true, but yeah.
I think you're right. It probably will be Sky because Sky have exclusivity in the 6 o'clock window, and that's when we will be in week 3. The 21st of September, and we have meetups in London and Leeds.
We do. And sorry, Tom, I know I went straight to John, but did you have a low light from around the league?
Not really. It's just nice to have NFL football back, isn't it?
It is. For me, a highlight for me was just having a week of red zone football. No stress on a Sunday, sitting down and watching 7 hours of football because it wasn't commercial free. Although from what we got in the UK, it was like, oh, we can't see the commercial. And so here's just the scores from around the league for 15 seconds. It really didn't look any different to me. I thought Scott Hansen, as always, was phenomenal. And I loved every bit of it. And it made my... I like putting an acca on for when the Vikings aren't playing in the 6 o'clock window, just betting all the games, keeping them interesting, one acca. And it kept it interesting. And it was a fantastic week. And I also found out a little top tip. Why would you pay for the zone when you could put a £1 acca on on all the games, and then all the ones that aren't blacked out by Sky having the individual broadcast right, you can watch on your phone for a quid. Who
There's
would
a
have
tip.
known? There's a tip for you. Yeah, consumer advice: gamble responsibly, of course. But for the small price of £1 that might win you a lot of money, you can watch a lot of NFL football. Please don't take away that feature. Prep 365 and William Hill. I think they were both working on that, and it was great. I was just like, oh, I can watch the Eagles. Oh, sorry, I can watch the Falcons game on my phone whilst having everything else on red zone. It was brilliant. And then a low light for me, just all the injuries going around the league early on. It's just a shame. Football comes back, and whilst injuries are part of the game, it can just mess things up, and not just fantasy teams. It's hard for the players to be so like amped up for the season, and we want to see the good players play, especially when they're not playing against the Vikings. The likes of George Kittle and that we want to see him play. So just the injuries for me as low light. Moving on to the Falcons, though. Week 2, the home opener. John, is anyone we know going to the game?
Well, TPJ's staying out there for the game, isn't he? He's travelling up to Minneapolis for that game, and I think that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
pretty
one else.
much. No
going
one
over there,
special.
but
No one who's a particularly big deal.
no, just regular deal people. Go. But yeah, our man on the ground, I guess we can now call him the roving sideline reporter of the UK and Ireland Minnesota Vikings fan club, who steals some pretty good seats from what we saw on the weekend. Tom, how excited are you to be back in the bank?
I'm going to have to start billing you guys. Yeah, I'm really excited. The first time back in a year. I was there last year for the 49ers game, saw the Justin Jefferson 98-yard touchdown. I'm hoping that we get something similar to that this coming weekend. And against the Atlanta Falcons, I think we fancy ourselves to come away with a result there. I mean, they only didn't take it to overtime against the Bucks because of a missed field goal, but I think that performance stands us in good stead. The way we came back against the Bears, we should be able to knock off the Falcons in our home opener.
And John Penix looked good, really. So he looked good in that first game of the season.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, last year we played our best game of the season. I honestly think against the Falcons. It was against Kirk, but I definitely think it was our best game of the season. But we'll see. It's another gonna be another late night for everyone. But I'm used to it. It's you guys who have to struggle the next day. But yeah,
Not me.
It's an
early morning for me.
another
It'll be an 8 a.m. kickoff or a 9 a.m. kickoff for me. Get me ready almost for the London games. I'm excited for that. Yeah. It's going to be a weird feeling watching NFL football first thing in the morning. I'm going to be watching. The likelihood is watching Thursday night football on a plane again. That was fun last year. It was Thanksgiving, so it was
where are you going?
I am going over to the Philippines, so you don't get my voice. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi over there isn't as good as it is in Chicago, so you'll be without me on the podcast for a couple of weeks. Try and look disappointed, chaps, and you'll have to deal with Big Deal Rich back as host. I say that actually, he's with you, isn't he? So
yeah, he is actually coming out here. So yeah, we got to work out who's going to host this podcast next week.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Am I the only one that this podcast isn't paying to go on holiday this year?
I mean,
it's
you
likely
you are going to 2 NFL games still. Granted, Tom's going to 4 of the first 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, before we'll digress, 'cause we're probably getting a bit sidetracked here. Um, Tom, what's your key to victory against the Atlanta
Gosh,
Falcons, and what is your score prediction for the game?
I mean, I think our key to victory is really going to have to be improving in secondary. The secondary really struggled last night. Every time the Bears made a completion, the receiver was in like 10, 15 yards of space. So we've got to be better at covering the receivers. And I also think be better at tackling. There was a number of times when players got through first contact really way too easily. And that you can't be doing that at the NFL level. You've got to bring guys down without allowing them to make 4, 5, 6 extra yards.
Yep, I'd agree with Tom there. That secondary, I see us making a move this week in the secondary, because now we can do it and not play the full contract because week 1 has passed. So that's why a lot of teams will be making moves for big players that still out there, because week 1's passed, so you can say, oh, you've not played the entire season for us, so we don't have to pay you that full contract there. So I see us making a move in the secondary there, because we've said it for some time, the secondary is going to be our weak department.
I'd consider bringing Stephon Gilmore back, like even for another year. He's still available. He knows our system. I think he'd be a good fit just to play, especially since I think Okuda went down with an injury on the last play last night. Maybe we need to bring in. I just saw on the game book.
That was concussion.
On the last play as well. That's
yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So he's flown back with the team, and they're going to get it properly assessed when he's back in. It's probably already happened, but we've heard nothing yet. But he's flying back with the team. So yeah.
Well, we might be seeing Fabian Moreau elevated from the practice squad then.
But I definitely agree with your getting Gilmore back in, because he won't need to bring him that much up to speed, because he already knows.
He was only with us last season.
Yeah.
Shaq Griffin, a free agent too, as well. I think he was released from the team he was.
There's a reason these guys were released. I mean, it's probably because of money that they were released. But if we can bring them back on a cheapish deal, I'd say yes to that. You wanted my score prediction.
Yeah,
I think Vikings. Gosh, Vikings 30. Falcons 23.
The good old one-score game still living strong.
We're the kings of the one-score game.
Exactly. John, your key to victory and your score prediction.
It's just improving on the secondary. As I said, that's going to be the key to victory, and just giving JJ time in the pocket, because
having Darisaw back.
When he had time in the pocket last night, he looked brilliant. And one criticism with JJ, if you see a gap in the pocket, escape, because he tends to take an extra second before he takes off the if you see the gap, go for it. But my score prediction for the game, I'm going 31-12 Vikings. Big win.
Excuse me. No touchdowns for the Falcons.
No, it could be a touchdown and a safety, and the
two
goal.
touchdowns with no PATs, or 4 field goals.
With the way that they kicked on the weekend, potentially.
Yeah.
Well,
I think for me the key to victory, whilst of course the secondary is a glooming thing here, it's staying true to who we are on offense. I think we were trying to be too cute in the first half. dink and dunk our way down the field, keep the defense fresh. We're an explosive offense, and when we just want to strike quick, we are so good at it. I know it ties up the defense, but we've got a good amount of depth there. We've got capable bodies. Levi Drake Rodriguez, Ty Ingram Dawkins, both players had an impact last night in the in the middle of the defensive line. And so I'm all for making it a little bit more exhausting on the defense and attacking and striking fast and scoring fast. And that's who we are as an identity. Is we blitz a lot and we score quick touchdowns. And let's just be true to that. Let's find our feet doing what we do well. And one other thing is just containing the scramble, because Penix was great at escaping the pressure and escaping the pocket. And I mean, that Michael Jordan-esque stretch out for the touchdown was just a sight to behold. So I'd say, contain the scramble, but also stay true to what our identity is and what we do well. Don't try and be cute. Just play Viking football.
Okay, we've flown through it tonight, really.
Score prediction? Did you give us a score?
Oh yeah, my score prediction. Oh goodness. Now the pressure. I do think Penix is good. I wanted it a long time ago. I wanted to draft Penix. I am gonna say Falcons and Vikings. Falcons 24. No, 28. Vikings 31.
Oh, even more of a one-score game.
Yeah, even more of a one-score game.
Wow.
Will the thrill coming through in the end there for us?
As he always does.
As he always does. Yeah, a 68-yard walk-off field goal to win it, probably, or something like that, because it's just the thrill.
Well, those score predictions will be going in my game preview when I release it later this week. As soon as we get the first injury report, I'll be putting out the game preview. As I do every week for whenever there's a Vikings game. I say that. I only started at the end of last season. But I will be doing that all season for every game we play. If you want to check out our website, ukvikingsfans.co.uk, all of our game previews and all of the information you'll need for the Vikings trips to Dublin and London will be there, as well as on all our social media. But yeah, if you don't mind me giving a plug to the work I do for the website, then we will be leaving that in the podcast.
There's a lot going on. Of course, that's actually the real reason Big Deal Rich is not here today. He's busy interviewing people to come on to the club staff, treasurers, website developer types. He is doing the service for the people today. Mostly because I trust him on this. Rich is good at this part of the job. I hate to compliment him, but he's good at this part of the job.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to introducing new people to the Vikings fan community in leadership roles, making sure that the experience for all of our fans is good. Whether it's coming to watch games with us in person at venues around the UK, whether it's going to the games in Dublin and London, or even the experience that we have when us fans come over here like I am. And so, yeah, it's all super important. And the other thing that's really important is that the fans let us know what we could be doing better to improve their experience. So, yeah, if you want to let us know, UK Vikings Fan Club @gmail.com is our email address. And you can also get in touch with us on all our social media channels, which Reese will run through at the end of the podcast.
Might as well run through the mumbo jumbo now, as we call it the mumbo jumbo. Someone's at the door for someone.
Someone's at the door for me, and I hope they don't come in.
Before we get into the mumbo jumbo, just to let everyone know, because we're getting this
We're so professional here.
Just to let everyone know, we're getting this a couple of times a day now. we do not know any information about what the Vikings are doing in Dublin or London at time of recording. We have set up our own events on the Sunday mornings for both cities, where we can where you can meet up with fans and do enjoy yourselves. But we don't know anything. So until we do, the moment the Vikings officially announce anything, we will put it out all across our social medias. But until that time, we don't know anything. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's very frustrating, and for anyone who has tickets to the game, they will be in your inbox about 10 to 7 days before the game. So do not worry if that you haven't received your tickets yet, because they will be in there about 10 to 7 days before the game.
Yeah,
So I guess
important stuff.
The important stuff. But anyway, mumbo jumbo, which is actually important stuff. So pay attention to the mumbo jumbo. First of all, John, the all-round nice guy up in the your top right of your screen there. He is cycling 620 kilometers now. I think we've worked it out to be, because he's changed his route, he's changed his stops, he's made it longer for himself for a couple of free nights accommodation. Thank you
Ooh.
to those who have provided that. But yeah, John is cycling 620 kilometers in aid of the charity Mind with the Purple Pedal. You can donate to the Purple Pedal and John and his crazy endeavor at justgiving.com/page/the Purple Pedal. Tom and John have mentioned that we have pre-game tailgates for the London and Dublin games. Week 4 in Dublin, pre-game tailgate at Phil Ryan's The Hogan Stand Pub, and week 5 in London at the Two Brewers and the Victoria pubs.
Both of which
We
in
have
spitting distance of the respective stadiums.
Very close, all very close to the stadium. So great place for a pre-game tailgate. The beer is back, only in London. Getting it over to Dublin's a bit tricky. Plus, if you're in Dublin, you're drinking Guinness anyway. We know that. That's not a stereotype. That's just an expectation. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? But if you do want to get your hands on the beer, it is shipping currently to mainland UK through the brewery. You can go onto the link in the bio of the podcast, of all our socials, which I'll spit through at the end of this podcast, and you can buy yourself a 16-pack of For Whom the Bell Skulls. Currently, yet only shipping to mainland UK. Just courier charges for the brewery at the moment have the impact on that. However, if you are desperate for to sop a frothy one, as Big Deal Rich would say, then you can organise your own collection and courier from the brewery. All the socials. If you like what you've heard, then get in touch with the podcast, ukvikespod@gmail.com, Facebook, UK and Ireland, Minnesota Vikings Fan Club, X and Instagram, message us on there at UK Vikings Fans, Blue Sky UK and A&D, IRE Vikes Fans. Discord, there's always a link on Discord, or a link to join Discord through our community chats and everything. Community chats are changing on Facebook. Not exactly sure what's happening there, but something's going to carry on one way or another. We always find a way. We persevere here, and that's why we all stayed up until the early hours of the morning to watch the Vikings triumph over the Chicago Bears, 27 points to 24. And with that, I think that's everything. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so. I think all that remains to be said is on to next week.
No, we don't say on to next week. We say...
What's John saying?
There is something missing this week that we have decided to do in its own short from now on. What's been missing this week, boys?
Oh, Billy's plays.
Billy's plays, pumpkin picks. A lot's been missing. Also, there's not even a photo of Tom and I eating sprinkles yet on social media. Only you, John. So, there's a lot missing. We got to catch up. But Billy's plays, yes.
Yep. Billy's plays yet, but we will be releasing that in its own short, where he describes the play, and you can guess in the comment section what play he's deciding. Billy is Richard's young lad, so Richard shows him a play, and then he describes it as only a child can. It's always brilliant. So yeah, keep an eye out for that as well.
And the best thing about it is that Rich definitely doesn't tell Billy what to say and never force feeds him Ivan Pace Jr. highlights.
There weren't many of those yesterday.
There weren't, no, unless you want to see. He was nearly my boy done bad, because he nearly gave him away back. He gave him way back into the game. Anyway, we digress. We are going to have to wrap this up because John has to get to work because he is the night owl of the podcast, and it's late when we record this. Of course, when you're listening, it might not be. So if you are listening, do rate, review, and yeah, if you're in the States like Tom, have a great afternoon. And well, with that, I guess there's only one more thing to say, and that is goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Cheers. Ta-ra.